Today's episode is brought to you by 9centprinting.com. With over 100 five-star reviews, 9centprinting.com is ready to meet all your printing needs. Are you a church plant or small church with no copy machine? No problem. 9cent Printing has you covered. If you need bulletins, flyers, books, cards, offering envelopes, posters, they do it all. I know the Christian owners of this business personally, and I'm not just a fan, I'm also a customer. Fast, nationwide shipping, affordable, professional, wow printing at wow prices. Check them out at 9centprinting.com. Welcome to the Small Town Pastor Podcast. This podcast is a ministry of Small Town Network. We exist to make disciples, train pastors, and plant churches in smaller communities. My name is Eric Nielsen. I'm joined by my co-host, Tony Colomb, today. How are you, Tony?
Doing great.
Good to have you back, as always. And today we're joined by someone we don't actually know, someone we just met moments ago, Adam Ray, correct?
That is correct.
Right. Adam, where do you hail from? Tell us.
We're up just south of Traverse City, Michigan, in a small town called Buckley.
In Buckley. Okay.
Buckley,
Nice.
Michigan.
How big's Buckley, Michigan?
I believe there's 690 people in the town of Buckley.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
A legitimate small town.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
That's awesome.
Adam, what's your role at the church is called
The Tabernacle.
Tabernacle.
Yep. Buckley Gospel Tabernacle was its original name back.
Buckley Gospel Tabernacle. Okay.
Sounds lively.
Got cranking. The church has seen quite a shift over the years, but the main campus that isn't there in Buckley. It's kind of a cool, I'll just give you a brief history of the church, but I'm the executive pastor there at the Buckley Gospel Tabernacle. I spent 24 years in student ministry prior to taking the role of executive pastor. And I'm not a typical executive pastor that loves admin work and the operations side of things, more of the ministry side of pastoring. So I preach a lot at the church, run our staff. We have about 24 people on staff, and
Wow.
and so we're constantly training and leading and teaching, trying to build up and equip laborers there within the church for all the different ministries as well. So that's predominantly my role. I also run a small outdoorsman's ministry called Hunting the Harvest, and do a lot of traveling for that, for hunting, wild game dinners, sportsman's banquets. And so God's used a lot of different avenues to see the gospel ministry spread. But the tabernacle was established in 1920.
Okay.
And grew, in the heyday of the church, probably 200 to 250 was its max, and the old building is still there. It's now kind of like all the executive offices are there. But the joists running through the main part of the building, if you pull the ceiling down, you can see all the old hand-hewn logs still there for the joists.
That's cool.
I love stuff like that. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the church was about to die. 23 years ago, they hired John Vermilya as the youth pastor, and his youth group rapidly grew. He was on the mission field with in a soccer ministry, but the youth group grew rapidly to the point that it was larger than the adult number within the church.
Wow.
And the pastor resigned, and they were like, "Hey, can you just give us 3 years here as the pastor?" And he didn't want to be a pastor, but he agreed to fill the role for the time, and he's been there 23 years now. So
That's amazing.
and God's just blessed miraculously in a small town there. We run about 1,000 at that main campus, and then
Wow.
we planted 2.
Wait, you run 1,000 at the town that's not 1,000 people?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's
wait.
That's amazing. Dude, it reminds me of, like, Eric, do you remember David Bycroft at Tyro Christian in Kansas?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we both went to Ozark Christian College down in Joplin, Missouri. not at the same time. Eric is definitely older than I am.
Much older.
But not far from there, it was a similar situation, a small town in Kansas with a church that had more people show up on a Sunday than lived in the town because it just came from all the little towns all over. So that's awesome. Love
Yeah.
that.
It's pretty fun. We have to have like crossing guard parking teams
Yeah.
because of the way, we're just in this little town on a corner. And so
Mm.
the parking lots are all separate from the main building. So everybody's coming, filtering from all over. But we do 3 services, so it helps alleviate some of the pressure. And then our Manistee campus is about 45, 50 minutes from us. That one runs around 300, and they have 2 services. And then we planted a little over a year and a half ago in Cadillac, which is about 30 minutes from us.
Mm.
And those are both simulcast campuses. So they
Okay.
have campus pastors, worship teams, children's programs, admins, but all the preaching is live streamed into the
Okay.
into
Okay.
the
So
auditorium.
tell me the size of that town again that you're in, Buckley?
About 690.
That's crazy, man.
That's okay. That's cool, man. So that must be a fun story to tell people, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They must always be amazed, right? Like when you throw that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Easter, we had almost 1,500 people at our campus for those 3 services.
Mm.
And it was I preached Easter, so 3 services back to back to back, and all of them had about 100 plus people in the overflow.
Mm.
It was
Hmm.
just chaos, but
Yeah.
it's so much fun.
Good
Yeah.
problem to have.
That is
Well, hey,
fun.
let's back up a bit. And
Yeah,
first, we should mention to everybody that you said it was snowing this morning and it's May 1st. So that's amazing.
correct.
Is
Yeah,
that, do you guys get a lot of snow in your region?
yeah, we're over 200 inches for this area for this year.
200 inches?
Yeah,
That's so much snow, man. That's crazy. So
yeah,
is that northern Michigan?
hmm
Okay.
yeah,
You're
we're right up. We get a lot of when the weather gets below. I'm not a meteorologist, so please don't grab what I'm about to say. But it seems like when it's below 20 consistently and drops into the teens at night, we get a lot of lake effect snow.
Sure.
Wrapped by Lake Michigan, and all the bays are right here around
Right.
us.
Right.
Um, there's, late in February, we had a storm that dropped 30 inches on us, and
Oh, wow.
some towns north of us got over 50 inches just
that's
in that one storm. So it's but everybody, there's so many activities around here. We've got lots of like you guys do, but lots of rivers and streams that are
Mm.
always got some kind of fish or something to
Mm.
pursue. There's tons of winter sports. So as long
Wow.
as you're engaged in that stuff, the snow
Yeah.
doesn't bother you. But
That's cool.
okay. So you're
Yeah.
actually you're like in the mitten. You're like up here on the mitten.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Well, let's back up and have you talk
Mm.
about kind of your story, man. Like, well, how did you become a disciple of Jesus? Like, what's your
Yeah.
testimony?
What's your growing up story? Where'd you grow up and how'd you get into church and all that business?
Yeah. So I grew up in Lansing, Michigan.
Okay.
I spent first part of my life down in Indiana, but not any of the memorable moments of my early life.
Mm.
My dad was a pastor, youth pastor in Indiana, and then took over as lead pastor of a church down in Lansing, Michigan,
Mm.
back in 1988.
Okay.
And I grew up in pastor's home and ministry, saved at a very young age, knew the Lord, loved the Lord, but had no desire to be in ministry. I watched all the uh,
Mm.
not so pleasant trees of ministry, and then there's great things too. God always uh, took care of us, intervened in moments and scenarios where you would be like, hey, this is kind of a hopeless scenario, and you just watch God work. So I
Mm.
had a strong relationship with Christ from the standpoint of belief, no doubting that was there relationally, but I
Mm.
did not have any desire to go into ministry. I had the opportunity to get a pilot's license at a very young age, wanted to go to the military and fly.
Mm.
Had like this kind of pathway of pursuing what I perceived as the cool vocations. And my parents encouraged me to go to Christian college for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did. Went down to a college in Pensacola, Florida, and studied student ministry, or excuse me, I studied criminal justice with a plan of just utilizing that at some point in the future. And on a ride along with an officer, he was serving juvenile warrants, and he made the statement, I just wish somebody could get to these kids before they get in trouble. And
Mhm.
that coupling with a lot of, just Holy Spirit working on my heart and directing and pulling me in a direction. I knew God was calling me to that. I was kind of hopeful that I could just go do something fun, carry guns, and be the bad guy, you know. But the um, as the Holy Spirit really burdened my heart for ministry. I shifted over to a Bible student ministry major. I did physical education coaching minor because athletics has always been a part of our lives, and so that was kind of where all that began. I got a master's in counseling from Northland Baptist Bible College in northern Wisconsin. But I did that all in block classes. We were already in ministry and just really plugged in the community there in Lansing. I actually went back and pastored at the church I grew up in with my dad.
Okay.
That's
So I
awesome.
was there as a student ministry guy for 16 years.
Under your dad as a senior pastor?
Yeah.
How is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, it was all awesome. Like,
Sure.
um, there was towards the end of my ministry there was some the church, you know, to me, I thought that the church was communicating at a high level with my dad, that they were looking at me for the next lead, and they were not communicating at a high level, so there was some awkwardness there at
Sure.
the end. Some just philosophical differences that we could see. It was a independent fundamental Baptist church, King James Bible. Just we're running a inner city youth ministry that's far greater numbers than normal Sunday services, and trying to integrate kids into a culture that was not wanting to have anyone integrate into it.
Mhm.
There was a lot of things in that space that just kind of made it very conflictive towards the end of our ministry there. But we have a great relationship. He's actually still pastoring that church. He's in his
Wow.
mid 70s, I believe 76 he just turned. And so
Okay.
um that ministry is doing good. God had uh like a really cool pathway for us. We became part of Harvest Bible Chapel in Traverse City as I went on staff there in the student ministry realm. And as I was there, I learned just from the administrative side
Mm.
so much, and building teams and structuring teams and all these things that were completely annoying in the time. But God was like orchestrating this plan to be able to fill the role that I'm in now, which is such a blessing.
It's
So
funny how we start off, and then like things
Mm.
take a little detour. I wanted to be a police officer like all through high school. That's the only thing I wanted to do. I was in Police Explorers. I was doing ride-alongs like every Friday night, doing all that kind of stuff. And I just wanted to be a cop. And I had someone said this like thing to me, like, you should be a pastor. And I'm like, I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I want to be, I don't want to be a nerd. I want to be a cool guy.
yeah, exactly right. Yeah,
Drive fast cars and have guns and stuff.
yeah, yep.
Like,
So now
but
I drive fast cars, have guns. I just tell people about Jesus first.
I have a beat
There you
up
go.
truck and guns, but yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 But that disillusion with all that and that sense of like urging at the Holy Spirit getting on you and
Yeah.
going, this is not what you're gonna do. You're gonna do something different. And took a couple of years to kind of yield to that, and so glad I did. So it's funny just how we all have this idea of how it's gonna be and what we're gonna do, and then it turns out completely different and better,
yeah, right.
when we go with the Lord, right?
Well,
So
I think what's striking too is like you mentioned that just that one thing that officer said on the ride along, like I wish someone could reach these kids sooner. And it's just always amazing to me how one line from one person one time can like set a course.
Yeah,
That's awesome and scary all
Yeah,
the
terrifying.
times. You know,
For
it's like,
sure.
what have
Yeah.
I said to people? Oh crap! So-
Yeah, my current youth guy, like he grew up in my church in Oregon, and he goes, remember that time when you called me into your office and told me that you think I should go into ministry? And I'm like,
no.
no. And I'm not sure I believe you. I knew you back then. I'm not sure I would have ever said that. I really don't, though. I don't recall. So it's like Tony's saying, you say these things to people and they remember, they listen, so you got to be careful what you say for sure.
Yeah.
So with that being said, so you left the church that your dad was at,
hmm
and then you said you stayed in student ministry, but went to, it sounds like a different church where you picked up some of your administrative
hmm
kind of capabilities and stuff. So are all these churches that you're going to tell us about, are they all kind of in one denomination or one group, or it's kind of just different stuff?
Yeah, we were the first church was uh Fundamental Baptist Church, like a super conservative Baptist church, and then Harvest Bible Chapel is non-denominational, very Baptistic doctrinally, but a lot freer in worship style practice. They talk often about small groups and being a church of small groups. And so just learned a entire different perspective on small group. It's interesting in Independent Fundamental Baptist Church, you have almost a hierarchy feel. You got a senior pastor that oversees everything. Um, and in that space, there's almost a fear, at least in the churches I've had experience with, of giving other leaders that opportunity to have those intimate relationships, like small group relationships. And
Right.
so I kind of had that same perspective until getting to witness the growth and opportunities that are fostered in a small group ministry. So we have almost 70% of the tabernacle attendees are in small groups of some kind.
Wow.
Our men's ministry is called Fight Club, and we go to fight with the devil every week. And so there's a lot of those groups. Then they break into small groups. Tab Women is our women's group, and then we have Tab Groups, which is our couples groups. But they're all plugged in. My Thursday night fight club is called Bibles and Bows, and so we shoot archery for about an hour and a half, and then dive into the Word for an hour and a half, and it's awesome and just a
I'm
blast.
ready
So
to quit my job and
yeah,
come be a
come
member,
on,
be a
man.
member at your church. Yeah, that'd be
Let's
Same.
go.
cool.
I'll organize your tab meat events, men eating animals together.
Let's
So
go. Perfect.
you can take that. I don't care.
Men eating
So
animals together. Boy, I need to write these down because our men's ministry is about to go next level.
I am
So,
I am looking for some staff positions to fill, so we
okay.
can talk afterwards.
Okay, yeah. We have to bring something. I was going to wait till the second episode, but you just said something, and we were looking around on your website,
Mhm.
and we need like an explanation of this. What is this?
So yeah, this is the brass knuckles
I
with
love this.
Okay. Wait. For some people listen to this on audio, so this is a picture of brass knuckles,
yeah,
Yes.
a
It's
church
glorious.
t-shirt that says, "What is this?" Go ahead and read it for us. What's it say?
sola scriptura, sola fide, sola gratia, solus Christus, and sola de gloria, which is by Christ alone, faith alone, and just relating specifically to the intimate, unbreakable, non-negotiables of the faith. And so
Ah,
it's kind of like a brass knuckles. We're not gonna we'll fight over these is kind of the idea.
But
so it's like the four pillars sort of a thing. Like,
Yeah,
these are the
I
things
love
we will
this.
fight you over with our brass knuckles.
I love
exactly right.
this.
Yeah.
No, I think it's worth reading the bottom that says this shirt pairs deep theology with everyday wearability.
Yeah.
I love
Was that
that.
you, Adam? Did you come up with that?
I did not. This is
That's
Pastor John, 100%.
that's
Uh,
amazing.
I wear it with pride though. So
I'm
you like,
totally gonna order this shirt.
oh yeah, we
do
were
it.
literally like laughing our heads off when we were looking at that, going,
Like
Yeah.
this
the
is
church
amazing.
has so I'm thinking this must be like an inner city, like thug life church, where the
Yeah.
members are giving out brass knuckles, brass knuckles as swag or something. It's like, no, you're like a very small rural country church with.
Yeah. We do have a mafia, within the rural community. I'm just kidding. But the beauty of the foundation of growth for our church was a pivotal moment where
Mm.
they decided that from this, John and the leadership at that time decided that from this point moving forward, we'll build this church on the backs of men, and
Mm.
that will be the hyper focus. So our
Mhm.
services are maybe more masculine than what
Mhm.
some services are. The room is painted black and gray, and we don't put flowers on the walls. There's no doilies anywhere. Just kind of that mentality of reaching dudes. And as we do, they bring their families, and there's been just
Mhm.
unprecedented growth within our
Mm.
church.
Yeah.
So we'll
Well,
do like,
so I'm sorry,
yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, you're good. You're good.
I was gonna say, so just backing up a step. So you were at that other church where you really learned small groups and stuff like that. Was and then like how lead us to like where you're at now? How did you get from there
Yeah.
to
So the very last year of my student ministry career, um, I was I took a group of 46 junior hires on a bus trip to down to central Kentucky to the Creation Museum. They have an
Oh
art
yeah.
exhibit and all
Yeah.
that. And we did a 3-day event. We involved Kings Island, which is a big amusement park as well. And
Okay.
Yep.
while we're on that trip, the bus broke down on I-75 on an off ramp. And you know how it is, like buses, vans, picking up kids, carting them all over the place. There's always these stories. There's flat tires, there's transmissions, there's all the
Sure.
things. But this one was like, as I was sprinting across roadways and grabbing fuel cans and all the things. Like in my heart, I just was kind of like, hey, I'm 45 and I don't really want to do this anymore. Like just I love preaching to teenagers. I love kids. Like I still preach
Uh,
to teens and do camps and all those things,
yeah,
but
yeah,
Mhm.
I
yeah.
just had like the thoughts of all the conversation I'm going to have with parents about, you shuttled our kids on what bus to Kings Island today? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know who
Yeah.
the bus driver was, but they were great, super kind. Anyway, and so just that whole like
Yeah.
moment for us, that was in August of 2 years ago, 2024. And we were, actually, it might have been 23, I don't know, 2 years ago. We had Rach and I, my wife, when I got home, I was just like, man, we really need to pray about what God's got next for us. If it's another position at this church, that's great. Uh,
Mhm.
we had a great relationship with pastoral team there. I was running young adults. Our young adults ministry was just incredible, and God was blessing every week, seeing growth in student ministry and all the things. But I literally, like, I could just tell my heart was not in that specific vein of ministry anymore. And so we determined to pray from January to June
Mm.
about next steps. And, you know, it's interesting because when you're not thinking that way, I'd have churches call every 2 or 3 weeks. Hey, would you be our lead pastor? Would you consider being our lead pastor? No, man, I'm good. We're plugged in. This is where God has us. And then as
Sure.
soon as it was like I start this shift, not a peep, no calls, no nothing. And it was brutal. And so I was taking that to mean that God was just wanting us to stay right where we were. And
Right.
so in June, last week of June of that prayer time together, I was speaking at Spring Arbor University for FCA sports camp, and John Vermilia, our lead at the Tabernacle, was the other speaker. Britton was speaking. I was coaching and stuff, and so it ended up that I had the opportunity to hang out with them in the evenings,
Mm.
and we would just literally laugh all evening long. And it was 90 some degrees, and we were staying in dormitories that had no AC. So it wasn't
Mm.
like you wanted to go up to bed. You just were like, let's just stay in the lobby till it cools
Yeah.
down. We'll crack the windows, and then somebody can actually sleep. But there was a knitting of our hearts in that space. And
Mm.
on the last day of June, which was also the last day of that camp, John asked if I would consider being his XP, executive pastor.
Wow.
And so it was like the
That's
timing
cool.
of it. You just knew this is what I'm
Yeah.
doing next. Like there's no question. This is what God has for us. And
Yeah.
so we kind of slow on ramp into that ministry. Took a few months because I wanted to wrap up stuff clear at Harvest, make sure teams were in place to continue rocking there. And then we came on staff January 15, 2 years ago.
Okay,
Awesome.
nice.
Awesome.
I had that same exact experience, like where I was like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore with kids, but I was 27.
Yeah.
So you're like a youth ministry hero, legend guy that just made 45. That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tony never even did it, right, Tony? Like you're like, I'm not doing that.
Briefly, yeah, briefly, and Hurricane Katrina changed that for me pretty quickly. So I graduated from Ozark, went down to New Orleans for a internship at a church plant there. 3 months into it, Hurricane Katrina hit, and but I was kind of a jack of all trades intern, like youth ministry, men's ministry, involved in the homeless feeding ministry we did by the Superdome. But after that year was done, I was like, it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that same feeling. I just didn't listen, So
Right.
I don't know why my background was blurred there.
Especially when you had those on the wall, dude.
Whoa, you got a caribou. Like, bro, I feel like we
need to start this podcast over.
this episode has just got derailed.
What is okay? This is a good time to like wrap up this episode. Tell us about the caribou. What is going on?
Yeah, so there's 2 caribou.
Two.
And those actually, my boys and I went on a hunt to Kodiak Island.
Mm-hmm.
And we got flown in, dropped off, set up a base camp by the water and on one of the lagoons, and then spiked out, killed 2 caribou and 7 black-tailed deer on that trip.
That's awesome.
But my boys, my oldest son Kenton killed that one, and then Hudson killed the other one.
Wow,
So
that's awesome.
I had a tag too, but by the time everybody had filled all their tags and it was my turn to hunt, I didn't want to carry any more meat. So
yeah, right.
we were good.
Man, that's incredible. That's gotta be like trip of a lifetime, man.
Oh, it was insane. Yeah.
Yeah, the caribou is on my bucket list of things to do here in the future as well.
Yeah, well, we need to talk about the Columbia blacktail in Oregon. That's on my bucket list, so maybe we can.
I'll tell you what, man, hunting blacktail on the Oregon coast is no joke.
Yeah.
It's a jungle out here.
Yeah.
We've had multiple conversations with multiple pastors about blacktail hunting and
some hunting exchanging and stuff like that. You take a trip here, we'll go on a trip there. So
yeah,
I might retire from my position and just go into hunting ministry or something.
Yeah, do it.
Something like that. So
I'll
tell people here I said that.
Yeah.
I'll take that risk if you go that route.
Well, hey, let's like wrap right there, and then we'll fire up the second half, and you can tell us more about the tab and what's going on there. So thanks for listening, everybody. Be sure to check out our sponsors at 9centprinting.com if you like what we're doing. Please like or subscribe wherever you watch or listen. And if you're interested in Small Town Network, you can find us online at smalltownnetwork.com. If you believe in the importance of planting disciple-making churches in smaller communities, we'd love you to consider partnering with us in prayer and financial support. You've been listening to the Small Town Pastor Podcast. All right.
Today's episode is brought to you by 9centprinting.com. With over 100 5-star reviews, 9centprinting.com is ready to meet all your printing needs. Are you a church plant or a small church with no copy machine? No problem. 9 Cent Printing has you covered. If you need bulletins, flyers, books, cards, offering envelopes, posters, they do it all. I know the Christian owners of this business personally, and I'm not just a fan, I'm also a customer. Fast, nationwide shipping, affordable, professional, wow printing at wow prices. Check them out at 9centprinting.com.